What they have done is engage in this act of economic terrorism against the entire world. They basically threatened any ship that's moving through the Straits of Hormuz. Well, as the President of the United States showed, two can play at that game.
Yeah, and it is really feeling like a game to Donald Trump. It feels like the rules change every day, the goal changes every day. It's like a good game of flux, actually. We don't care about the strait now, we're blocking the strait. I don't know how to follow all of this. So according to JD Vance, when Iran blocks the Strait of Hormuz, it is economic terrorism. You know he cares about it because he's whipping out the big T word that they use to attack anything they really don't like. But when Donald Trump does it, it's good strategy or whatever. Okay, let's say that it is good strategy for Donald Trump. Is it not a good strategy for Iran? Like, I know that you don't like Iran, but like, what would you do if you were them? Would you not do this? Would you not play your strongest card? You can call it economic terrorism. Okay, fine. I think that there's a case to be made. And we're also doing that by blocking some ships from going through the strait, or not, because it's really not clear whether that blockade is ever actually going to happen. Again, Donald Trump saying a thing doesn't mean it's gonna happen, but there's so much, there's messaging going in every direction. If you are a MAGA person, I don't know how you follow any of this. But let's jump into what should be a relatively simple question. Are other countries now gonna join our blockade of the Strait of Hormuz?
Is it your anticipation, Mr. President, that other countries will assist in this effort to blockade Iran and those?
Yeah, other countries are going to also.
Which countries, sir?
We don't need other countries, frankly, but they've offered the services. We'll let it be known probably tomorrow.
Probably tomorrow, maybe in 2 weeks. Okay, so are other countries gonna go? Again, like the programming that makes up Donald Trump is so easy. Are other countries gonna join? Well, if other countries join, that would make me look good, yes. But wait, I don't wanna look dependent on them. We don't need them. But they are gonna join, but I can't tell you who, but maybe at some point. Now, if they reached out to you and said they were gonna join, you don't think that Donald Trump would have led with that? If Spain fell in line, or if Keir Starmer was like, you know what, we're sending 2 battleships to the strait. You don't think Donald Trump would have spared a moment on the can to Truth Social post about that? He's not talking about it because it doesn't exist. You remember when he spoke to a living president who agreed with him on Iran, and then they reached out to all of them and all of them denied it? Yeah, because it was a lie. If there was a specific one, he would say it. This is all very easy to diagnose. Now, could some country help us at some point? Maybe, but why would they? They've so far shown absolutely no interest whatsoever in getting involved in the Strait of Hormuz, and why would they? It's our mess, we caused it. Why would they risk losing a ship, imperiling the lives of hundreds of sailors because of Donald Trump's issue? It doesn't make any sense. So I would love to be surprised, but I don't think it's gonna happen. Now, he did Truth Social post, 34 ships went through the Strait of Hormuz yesterday, which is by far the highest number since this foolish closure began. And I love that as a statement because we're part of the foolish closure, you fool. You're calling yourself a fool. I don't know if that 34 number is actually true, but if it is true, okay, good. Maybe Iran is like letting up on their hold on the Strait of Hormuz. That would be awesome. And if they do that, then we should definitely not blockade it. But also, what do you mean 34 ships went through? I thought we were blockading the strait. I can't even trust the insane things that he does anymore. Because you might think, oh, well, the way that you square that circle is they were ships we wanted to come through. They're not Iranian, they're not Chinese or whatever. We're cool with these ships, except that that's not true either. They had apparently been docked at Iranian ports or whatever, at least a lot of them, and we allowed them to go through. So are we doing a blockade? Okay, maybe we hadn't started it. Maybe I'm being unfair in terms of the timeline. It is difficult to set up an insane thing that's based on the social media whims of an ailing senior citizen. So maybe they need to wait until today or whatever. Okay, well then we will come back tomorrow and we will talk about this and try to figure it out. I just know that as of right now, ships that were under US sanction were included in those that passed. There was a specific Chinese ship that was blacklisted by the US Treasury for helping Iran to evade some of the sanctions that are on them right now. We let that one pass. And again, by the way, like, I'm not doing the taco thing. I'm not trying to like needle him, challenge him to stopping these ships. I don't want him to, because honestly, I don't know any more than you do what happens if we tried to stop that Chinese ship. Maybe the Chinese Navy gets involved. Maybe this is actually the beginning of World War III if Donald Trump decides to start a fight with China over all of this. And don't say that he definitely wouldn't do it, because you definitely didn't think he'd threaten to nuke Iran, and we all lived through that. So anyway, we have other stuff on the negotiations. I think, well, I'll just very quickly bottom line it is, and that is that. So, and I kind of almost even like this as a point. So we don't want Iran to enrich uranium, definitely not to the level where they can make nukes. I don't think that we're gonna get Donald Trump and JD Vance to be okay with them enriching it at the lower level required for, domestic energy production through nuclear power plants or whatever. They wouldn't trust it, and which I almost sort of understand, and it's why I would want the Iran deal that we negotiated under Barack Obama to be in effect, because then you could have that. So anyway, but also Iran doesn't want to agree to never do it again, because then they lose face, they look weak and all that. So instead they're trying to negotiate, the US is, a 20-year suspension of all nuclear activity. So that way, that extends out the time horizon until 18 and a half years after Donald Trump has died anyway. So he never has to experience Iran developing nuclear weapons. And it gives a lot of other time for things to potentially change, regime change or whatever. Now, supposedly, Iran has renewed a proposal that it would suspend nuclear activity for up to 5 years, which is not nearly as long, but it is something. Now, again, if you had this, you would still have to have inspectors on the ground to trust that they haven't resumed it, and that when they resume it, they only resume it to a certain level. It really doesn't solve the problem, and I am cognizant of the fact that this could potentially lead to another war in Iran in just 5 years or whatever. Tucker Carlson could invade them or whatever. So I do worry about that. But look, if this is the sort of thing that lets these two sides, both of which are obsessed with being perceived as strong, so much so that they constantly make themselves weaker, then that's fine. I'll leave it to the experts to let us know what they think about that and where that would actually go in 5 or 20 years.
If you enjoyed that, make sure that you never miss another video by subscribing. And if you want a little more, consider hitting the join button and becoming an actual member. But you're probably wondering, why the hell would I do that, John? First off, calm down. The stakes in this are very, very low. But also, when you click the join button and you become a member, you get access to bonus content that I make every week, and it's a ton of fun. You get access to tons of custom emojis and more besides that. By the way, if you join at tier 3, you even get access to a monthly member hangout with myself and other awesome people, and we always have a great time. By the way, you'll get all that going forward, but you also unlock years of the back catalog. That is literally 100 or more bonus clips, top 10 lists, debates, and more. What are you waiting for? Click the join button below. Your support powers our show, and we couldn't do it without you. Or at the very least, I wouldn't really want to try. Viewers like you keep me here. So thank you in advance for joining.